Hello.
Hey everyone, what's good? I'm here with the one and only Natty, and we're excited to have y'all with us for the second installment of Flow's interviews, where I ask engaging questions to the very best people on the internet. The date is 15 June 2023. It is a beautiful sunny day over here in Washington State. How is the weather where you're at, Natty?
Sucks ass. It's been raining for the past like 2 or 3 days. So it's more like Washington weather, what you expect in like the spring.
Okay. And before we started the stream, you were mentioning to me you came over here 3 times last year for the summer. What's your opinion of it? Like, is it like a lot
Uh
here in Seattle, or?
yeah, I have like my besties over in Seattle. So I have like a queer family over in
Yeah.
Seattle. So I'm welcome whenever I can afford it.
Yeah, it's an expensive ass city. It's just
God, it's like a 30% surcharge just being Canadian.
yeah. I'm like 35, no, like 30, 35 minutes out, and I'm really picky about when I go up there and stuff like that. Like I gotta come out there with a purpose, otherwise you blowing out your money for stupid shit.
Pretty much, yeah.
Um, where would you say you're from, Natty?
I'm from Alberta. So where I reside right now, there's a bunch of French hamlets. So like I'm full-blooded Quebecois
Okay,
technically, but living in Alberta.
okay, okay. Um, Crap, I lost my train of thought. Oh shit. There was something I wanted to ask you.
Oh no. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, I want to acknowledge you and say that I appreciate you affording not just myself, but the forum an opportunity to get to know more about you. Um, the aim of this interview is to allow for all of us regulars on the internet to get to know more about each other. Shout out to both you and Natasha for being the first ones to take me up on this offer. So let's just get this thing started.
Cool.
You already mentioned to me where you're from. Do you have any siblings?
I have too many to list. I have two biological siblings.
Okay. You,
What my little brother,
yeah.
who's a few years younger than me, and then I have an older sister who's about 10 years older than me.
Okay. And do you keep in contact with them pretty regularly, or?
Only my brother. My sister lives in my hometown, which is fucking far. So I don't have as much contact with her and my nieces as much as I wish I could.
Okay. Yeah, I got like two sisters and like 4 or 5 like other siblings, and yeah, I can only keep in contact with my two blood related sisters though. But we only talk periodic throughout the year, and I understand how that goes. Life just kind of goes on and shit.
Yeah,
Um,
life moves differently for other people, especially.
okay. Are you doing anything in your life recently that you expected or you didn't expect? Is everything going along as planned, or it's kind of just moving with emotions right now?
Oh, I'm always moving with emotions.
Yeah.
Fucking uh so like my boss is technically my partner.
Hmm.
Well, technically my boss. It's more like horizontal position. So like all my work stuff right now is like, "Hey Nat, you might be interested in this shit." I'm like, "Oh sweet, thanks. Thanks, sweetie." So
Okay.
like I'm just kind of throwing shit. We're supposed to be doing a bunch of pride related stuff around the province. And
Okay.
then I can't get into specifics because I'll very much dox myself, but
Yeah.
there's exciting shit that just kind of fell onto my lap.
Okay. This profession that you're talking about right now, have you been working it for a good little bit, or do you find it really engaging? And do you find it really contributes to like something that you take a lot of value out of and everything?
Oh yeah. Like what I do is like do I want to say it? I do like harm reduction services and like
Oh,
sexual
okay.
health stuff.
Nice.
So it's exactly what I've always wanted to get into since like transition like 7 years ago.
Yeah. All right.
Like
Okay.
that's pretty sick.
Okay. Okay. You mentioned earlier, I remember about a few weeks ago to like 2 or 3 weeks ago, you were on vacation. Where were you at?
I went to San Francisco, the San Francisco area, mostly Oakland. I like
Yeah.
I hung out with some friends. We stayed over, had parties. We explored the gay districts, I
Yeah.
guess. We actually had no time to do any of the touristy shit. I don't care about any fucking stupid bridge.
You didn't see the Golden State Bridge?
I saw it in the distance. I don't give a shit about a bridge. Wow, what a
Oh,
feat of engineering. I can see it from far away. There's like 15 bridges in San Francisco. Who cares?
I feel some type of way about that because I took like one of my most iconic photos of all time. That's kind of funny.
Well, like
Did you
we didn't
go
even
ahead?
go to Alcatraz. We saw Alcatraz like from a distance from the wharf, but
You didn't even go inside of it?
no, we just got drunk.
Oh, I'm like a straight tourist when I go touring. Like, I guess like your thing is just, hey, I'm out here to have a good time. I'm out here to go like seek and explore, but you're not too much of a tourist type person, are you?
No, touristy. Oh God, I've been to Seattle like three times, maybe four, and
Yeah.
like I have no idea what to do there for touristy shit. I mostly just get drunk with my friends. So like San Francisco, we just hung out with friends. We made new friends and hung out with them like the entire time. And they're like, "Oh, go to this restaurant and go to this place, and it's
Okay.
fun." So like touristy shit can miss me. Although I wish I went to Alcatraz, but we got sick over over the time we were there. So
Alcatraz was cool when I went there with my ex at the time. We like saw like a whole. The setup was actually really interesting. You can see what type of criminals were over there. Of course, they had Al Capone and all that.
yeah.
What else? I want to ask you. Yeah, when you came over to Seattle, did you go ahead and did you see the gum wall or nothing like that, or the
No,
space?
why do I want to see the gum wall? Fucking I can make my own stupid gum wall.
Damn,
If I want a bunch of strangers to like spit on my wall, it's just as valuable as that. Who cares?
I feel lame as hell because that's like stuff I'm a sucker for. I'm like, oh, I gotta go see that. I'm not gonna see that, but you're like, nah, just go out here and have a good time. And look at
Yeah,
this.
it's like the Space Needle too. Calgary here in Alberta has a Space Needle like thing, and it's
Yeah.
like I don't care. I've been in a needle. I'm good.
Okay.
Although like being up close to it is like good enough for me. It's like holy shit, that thing's huge.
Yeah, I'm not
Which
too
is
sure if you have
what I
plans to
did.
come out here for the summer, but like since I got stationed here back in 2019, every single summer out here has been really beautiful. Like it rains here a lot during the winter and like
Yeah.
fall and all that, spring a little bit, but when it's summer, we got them concerts like the Bumble Fest or whatever it's called, the Puyallup Fair and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely try to make it out here if you can, because I mean there's a lot to do out here.
Yeah,
Um,
my friend would want me to come for the blues festival.
yeah, yeah, definitely. That's one thing I like being around a place like this. Like, do you guys get like a lot of concerts out there in Alberta?
Oh God, we get country music. We got
Well,
country music and the Calgary Stampede, which is like, fuck that. I'm good.
what type of country music? Are we talking like pop country or is it like
Pop
underground?
country.
Yeah.
I'm talking about hick hop.
Nah, no, no, that ain't my style. That ain't my style.
I hope it's no one's style. It's so bad.
What type of music do you listen to?
Great question. I listen to indie trash, so I have no idea how to even describe my taste in music right now.
Okay, so just like
I,
a lot of like indie type stuff. I don't. Hey, you can't really
uh,
define indie. I think at one point you could, but now it's just like anything that's.
yeah, I used to be like a mix of heavy metal, like prog metal, and now it's turned into like I don't know, Electric Guest, Glass Animals, Tame
Okay.
Impala, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I've heard of
Uh,
Tame Impala. They came up on my YouTube feed before.
yeah, that's like the most general thing I can come up with. I don't know. I just put it on Spotify and I just let it roll.
Okay. Do
I'm
you
like, oh,
like
I
play
like
any
this song.
instruments or anything like that?
Sorry?
Do you play any instruments or anything like that, like bass, piano, guitar, violin, clarinet?
Uh, I used to play drums back in the day.
Really?
Yeah,
Like we're talking like a rock band set, or are we talking like
yeah, rock band set.
Oh, interesting. Like how many years were you playing?
Fuck, probably 5 years back. This is like
Oh,
from like my high school to like moving out. Problem with
nice.
drums is that it's loud as shit instrument,
Yeah.
and it is expensive as balls if you want to play it like quietly in like an apartment or a basement suite.
Did you play in any bands or anything like that? Any covers, or did you post any of your music online?
No, 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 no. Oh God, if I had music to post online, that'd be so cringy.
Nah, I
Fucking
don't know
play.
about that. You know, everyone's like their biggest critic, but like you
I
can say,
guess so, but
yeah.
it's like, oh man, music from when I was like 15 years ago
Mm-hmm.
that I made 15 years ago. Oh, great. I'll show this to everybody. This is my greatest hits.
Yeah. Okay. Do you got any plans for the summer?
Uh, I think a lot of it is work stuff. We're according to my coworkers and stuff, Pride is like inundated with events to go to like every week, uh,
Okay.
every weekend as well, and that's generally where the gay parties start to explode. So a lot of it is work for this month. I think I have a summit to present at
Nice.
in August, but the rest of the time I'm just chilling. Supposed to
Okay.
go to a nude beach, I think. I don't know. I'm a short-term plan girl. I
Yeah.
can't do more.
Yeah. And like how do I put this? I keep on losing my train of thought. And it's kind of really embarrassing.
You're good. You're so good.
How do I put this? I wish I had Google Maps right now. I should have asked you where about Washington was at beforehand because I probably could have done a little bit of research.
Washington is south, so you know where BC is?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's to the right of BC is where Alberta is.
Okay, nice. So you guys are just off like the shoreline and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My ex that I was seeing for the past few months, she lives off in Vancouver, BC. And am I pronouncing it right? Vancouver?
Vancouver. Close enough.
Vancouver. Yeah,
Yeah.
my sister was making fun of me about that. Do you go to Vancouver a lot?
I wish I could. I usually travel to places I know people. I don't know that many people in Vancouver. I have one friend there.
Yeah,
Um, but I'm not extremely close to her.
yeah.
It's close
Vancouver,
enough to have a place to stay, but Vancouver is fucking beautiful. I love it.
it is beautiful, but correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like Vancouver is just like a cleaner, interesting, but like less fun version of Seattle. Like this, there's got
Yes,
nightlife out there in Vancouver, but I feel like Seattle got better nightlife. I'm
absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. Everyone describes it as a cleaner or vice versa. Seattle's a dirtier Vancouver and Vancouver's a cleaner Seattle. I think the nice thing is like if you really like nature, there's so much in Vancouver. There's so much shoreline that you can go to and do stuff. Like
yeah.
when I went like every pier along so like Seattle has the Puget Sound and like there's
Mhm.
not there's stuff to do there, but it's not that much. Meanwhile, like that whole sort of bay area inside the Vancouver is
Yeah,
fucking everywhere you can do shit there. It's connected to the downtown. There's water taxis you can take across the entire thing.
yeah,
Um, that being said, yeah, it is clean to the point of almost boring. Seattle has like such cool like rock and roll history, like grunge
yeah.
history
We got
with
that
it.
museum out there with
Yeah, and like the dive bar scene is so colorful that going anywhere else is like, man, this sucks.
yeah. I've experienced that too, so yeah, I know all about the dive bar scene. It's lit. It's lit,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's so good. It's so
Oh,
good. Like all the pinball machines and stuff. It's got character.
yeah. All right. So I want to move on to like NF related stuff
Yeah.
and transition to that. So let's take a step back into memory lane. I want to get back into head of young Natty.
Yeah.
What brought you to NF to begin with? Like, did you lurk for a bit before joining? Like, what sparked your interest in creating an account first of all, and talk with the rest of these degenerates?
uh okay. So I was on a forum called Anime Fall, which is very funny because if you type that in, it'll actually get redacted.
Oh,
Um and I joined a Discord server, and it ended up being a Discord server with like a ton of like forum staff of Naruto fans or
really?
Naruto forums. I don't remember. Yeah. So like, this. Oh God. So yeah. So like, I knew people like Santi, White Wolf, Trinity. Um,
Whoa! I did not, man.
I knew Avalon. I knew so many people that were mostly staff. And like I got really well along with them. And then at some point they mentioned they came from Naruto forums or Naruto fans. So when Anime Fall blew up, imploded itself, I joined Naruto fans.
What year was this?
This was 2018, 2018, I think.
Oh, so you're like you just recently came over here, huh?
Yeah, I'm technically a baby compared to all the other boomer accounts.
That is okay. So you really didn't come over here to like, oh, I love Naruto or nothing like that. You were just like,
No, I don't even like anime that well. I do like anime, but I'm not. The most I read about Naruto is fucking Zabuza, and I was like, this is peak. This is Naruto can't get better. And everything I hear about it, yeah, it did not get better.
Okay, so that really tied into my next question and all that. I was gonna ask you if you were like into anime or anything like that.
Yeah, Naruto sucks. I don't care for it at all.
I did not know Santi, Avalon, and them they were like on another forum or another Discord thing and all that back in 2018, and they like I didn't know all that, but it makes sense, you know, like everyone creates their own friend groups, is like in different like applications and all that.
I'm not even sure if it was a friend group per se. I think it was someone put out an ad on the forum. I don't remember her name, Rena, I think, and like
Yeah.
random people joined it, which ended up being some forum staff and some random members that ended up being staff on the other forum, including
Yeah.
myself. So yeah, like Avalon was staff there, but I guess he's staff now, but he wasn't at that time in Naruto forum.
Are we talking to the same Avalon who's like in the cafe and he
Yeah,
has
A optimistic, yeah.
oh no, I thought you were talking about Ava, the guy who's like a huge leftist and all that.
Yeah, that's A optimistic.
No, there's another Ava. There's another Ava.
There's another one?
Yeah, he's not Ava. His name is Ava, AVA. And like
no.
Okay, it's not.
No.
Yeah, I'm getting them confused. I'm like looking at A optimistic. Like, first, like I want to mention when I first saw you, I think I may have seen you posting a little bit in the cafe, but the first time I noticed you was in Cafe Cord when I was around there back in like 2018, 2019, and you were posting there periodically, then leave, then posting there periodically. But yeah. So were you pretty much always posting in the cafe or?
No. My forum history is interesting. I'll try to avoid naming specific people so I don't irate people. But when I joined, I used to be in the alley all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That was my home. I fit it right in, and people thought that was suspicious. So people thought I was a dupe.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes in there.
Yeah, people thought I was a dupe for the longest time. And like, I did not present myself as trans. I was not newly out, but like, I did not want to make a big deal out of it because, you know, insular forum communities and being queer in any shape or form typically do not go too well.
Yeah.
Someone outed me though, and it got fucking horrible.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, you didn't do anything. But yeah, I started posting in the cafe after a certain point, and my harassment got so much worse. It was mostly about trans stuff. So yeah, I used to be on and off cafe poster, and now that's mostly what I do. The alley's pretty much, it's kind of dead. It's kind of dead now. So yeah. I don't have that drive in me anymore to go post there.
So you're probably not familiar with it, but you probably heard people talk about it. Is the alley like the lounge, or is it like the blender, like mashed together?
It's like I heard people talk. I don't know too much about Blender or Chatterbox, but I heard it's a combination of both.
Okay, so it's pretty much like a lounge and a blender mashed together. Let me tell you, Natty. Let me tell you something. Back then, 2012 to like, I want to say, no, 2011 to 2000, around 13, 14, the lounge was not moderated at all. Like, I think we had a moderator in the Parala X, or no, I can't remember her name. It was like Para or something.
Yeah, there's Para, yeah.
Yeah, Para. I think I confused her with Para, the other dude.
There's too many Paras. I know the one Para you're talking about. I've talked to her before.
Yeah, like there was no moderation in there, and I was just. This was like at the height of my fucking troll years. Like I was just hitting it up on a daily basis.
Yeah.
There was drama in there on a daily basis. It was like depending upon the weather. You had people going up in there just arguing for like I am not kidding you. I'm not over exaggerating. There would be times where people were literally arguing in there for like weeks with just no moderation. People just ripping each other to shreds about, oh, he said this and she said this, and it was just like, man, it was like some wild shit. I felt like at one point people were just logging into the lounge just to kind of vent their frustrations out and just make fun of people. I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a prominent user there. She was like, I want to say the queen, but I would just say like she was kind of like the most notable female user there, but like she did not like me at all.
Yeah.
it was a fun time. But now I'm looking at the alley now. You're telling me that it's dead.
Yeah,
That's a lively community. It looks like everybody, for the most part, gets along in there. Is that the case?
That was not always the case. I wouldn't
Oh.
say it was like super drama filled, and it was moderated. Like there's rules posted in there, and they used to be more heavily moderated, I think, than even the cafe at that time. What was I talking about? Yeah, there used to be tons of drama surrounding the alley back when I first joined. Some of it was not some of it included me, some of it was specifically me, like I was harassed more or less, and some of it was surrounding me, but some of it I contributed to for sure. Most of it was like I don't know if it was, I wouldn't, some of it was like trashing on each other in the alley. A lot of it was like board related, so like, oh fuck you bleach board, they're doing this. Not an actual example, I'm avoiding specific boards, but yeah, it used to be like these boards are coming in to talk shit, or they're talking about other people behind their back in their boards, and it's that's kind of how it went.
Yeah, like you probably notice in the cafe. There's no secret. What I do notice is like an OBD user comes up in the cafe, say something really fucking stupid, and like 5 or 6 of us pounces on that user, and then he or she gets fucking pissed off, and then he go gets his like friends and all that. They come back and then they start making all these shitty ass fucking takes.
Yeah,
that's how it fucking goes,
That's how it went in the alley as well. If somebody from the OBD sniffed something, some drama or blood in the air, they would show up, and then tons more would show up, and then they'd talk amongst themselves, and it kind of get like snowball from there.
Yeah. What's your opinion of the cafe? Like the vibes that you get in there, like would you say like overall, like it depends on the time of day, or would you just use a single word to describe it? Like immediately what comes to my mind is like toxic, informative, what else? Engaging. What about you?
I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with it. So like my thing, like I would say different posters and everything have different things they specialize in, right? So like there's some posters who are really good on the economic side. There's some posters who know their shit regarding X topics. So like I would say someone like Bazu. I don't even know how to pronounce his fucking name.
I would say Bazu.
Yeah, I just call him. I just say Bazu like a dipshit. But he seems to know more about like intersectionality and sort of that kind of stuff. There's someone like AFG who I don't even know how to describe him, but he tries to practice empathy with rationality rather than do both, and he words himself eloquently. So like there is a lot of people there that like, yeah, I would describe that as informative. I learn a few things here and there, and like I like to think that I can be informative about my specific topic, which is generally like trans politics or queer politics. And then there's other posters who I feel like and I'm only mentioning these people not just because they agree with me or they're my friends, but because they're the immediate people that come out to mind. And then there's other posters who seem more like shit stirrers. someone like Onomatopoeia, who, even though I agree with him a lot, he's definitely a shit stirrer. Or
Yeah.
Kisame, or like Kiba. Like, there's so many who are, for better lack of a better term, don't care about informing or even educating like at all, and rather just expose their own opinion. Doesn't really matter if it's supported or not. They just kind of spit it out there. So like, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's hard to describe in one word what the cafe is. It's it's shit. It's just
Yeah.
shit. Like, that's the one word. I learn some things. Sometimes I get pissed off. Sometimes I'd rather just post, like, I don't know, the word poop in it like constantly, just for no
Yeah.
reason, because I hate it so much. Sometimes I want to tell people like KYS, like, because there's no point in talking to them.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. It's not good, and it has a bad reputation specifically for the shit stirrers.
But yeah, it's probably the most active section on NF, and that's what makes it so interesting because I would say it's extremely toxic, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of fucked up people with fucked up mindsets that post, and then they post. When I say fucked up mindsets, they're not even going in there to learn. They know their views are reprehensible, but it's almost as if they're gleeful about it. I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah,
sure
there's
you like as of recent right now, as of today, looking in there right now, you can probably point to one or two individuals and probably know who I'm talking about.
there's
Um,
some posters who expressly like want a genocide, like
yeah,
want death for certain subsections of people.
yeah.
um I know there's one poster who specifically, I have my, like, I think of immediately as saying it outright on the forum before.
This is what I always find weird because I remember the reason why Cafe Cord, a big powerful reason why it exists was because me and some other users, we got pissed off at how the section was being run. You had a bunch of like Trump supporters that were just going in there, and it was obvious that they were trolling.
Yeah.
They were just pretty much getting their way in there, and it wasn't about like, hey, we just don't want Trump supporters up in there, but it's like these people are obviously trolling, and the moderators at the time tried to be like completely neutral to the point of just like excusing like blatant troll posts out there. The same case right now. We got like blatant trolls out there. Um, I guess like in my opinion, I feel like the cafe is very difficult to moderate because on one hand, you're dealing with a lot of topics that are very sensitive within nature. You know,
Hmm. Yeah,
I'm going to be passionate about stuff regarding Black issues, specifically like Black American issues. And when I see
exactly.
someone being racist in there, um, I'm gonna lose it eventually.
Yeah.
Saying you have your issues that you feel passionate about as well, and I think it's unrealistic to expect. Okay, people are going to be completely civil. So I think there has to be a moderator that's utilizing good judgment within there. But if you're like in every single like fucking thread, just trying to go in and trying to get a rise out of people,
Yeah.
and like I don't intend this like for your interview to be like used for like drama or nothing like that. But you mentioned Punish Kiba and all that. That dude, he's not going in there trying to learn and all that. He's going in there to be a piece of shit. He's going there to get attention and to see what he can get away with because he finds it funny, you know. Like, and the moderators have been letting him get away with it for years. So I feel like it contributes to like the toxicity of the section. But at the same time, I don't want like a hardline um
Yeah.
moderating team in there because I know for a fact I would get fucking banned. That's number one.
Yeah, if there's, it's impossible to have a hard line regarding this stuff, because yeah, you have people poking at sore wounds for other people, and like things people are going to say innocuously, like not even trying to offend, are going to end up, like hurting somebody else. It's just the nature of political stuff, especially when it comes to things like minority topics or things that really affect other people. It's like, yeah, no shit, people are going to get upset about certain things and certain topics. So yeah, moderation, I think, I don't know. For for a long while, I think there was like that air of neutrality, or trying to stay neutral, and that's like impossible. You
Yeah,
cannot be neutral, especially about certain topics. Um,
yeah, you just can't.
yeah,
And that I mean, gets it to me like right now. I feel like certain people are like saying and doing certain things, and I would like to see more from the moderation team, but I'm very reluctant about calling them out. I would rather than just to kind of like realize, hey, we got to do something about this because I don't want to be the one like I already feel some type of way about like running to a moderator to go do something because I feel like I'm like, hey, mom, dad, can you go? I don't like doing that shit. You know, I'm a grown fucking man.
Yeah, I'd rather not. Like me neither. I probably reported like a handful of posts in my entire forum career, even though people insist I did not.
Yeah.
That's not true. Uh, yeah, I feel like the moderator team, like the cafe, is okay, at least comparatively,
Mm-hmm.
to before. And like my bias is showing here because I really like Nemesis and Island. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, like,
But you're
and
quiet about
Shadow
Shadow
knows
now. So I
Shadow
guess you
knows
and
what they're
Shadow don't
talking
get
about
along.
generally.
You hear what I
Sorry.
said? I said you were quiet about Shadow, so I guess you and Shadow don't get along, huh?
I'm indifferent about Shadow. Shadow
Oh,
typically stays in his own lane about his
okay.
cinephile stuff. So like, I don't, whatever.
Oh, I was only saying that as a joke. I didn't mean.
Yeah,
Like I didn't mean
Shadow.
to certify shit.
Shadow sucks ass.
Yeah. Um, where do you consider yourself on the political spectrum? Like, in my opinion, I would consider you as someone that is somewhere on the left. I don't know where. Like, I never see you take the compass or anything like that. And were there
Uh,
any significant occurrences within your own country or the world that contribute to where you lean now in terms of politics?
uh, yeah, I would. I don't know how far left I would describe myself yet
Yeah.
as, but it'd be pretty far left. I'd describe myself maybe as a socialist.
Yeah.
You know, working harm reduction shit automatically puts me there. Well, almost automatically puts me there. Uh, but like, yeah, for me, I've always been vaguely on the left, not really having too much of opinion, especially as a teenager. Uh, but like, I think the thing that radicalized me and continues to radicalize me is transgender stuff, like
Of
just
course.
gender in general. Like, I've becoming more and more deluded to the idea of controversial opinion, like about like sex and stuff, like biological sex, which has made me only more and more radical as time goes on and as I get older. uh, Economically, I fall on the left somewhere too.
Yeah.
uh, that's generally where I find myself. I've never really been on the right. It's not a thing that
Yeah.
I've been.
I would say being over in Canada, I feel as though everyone's involved with their own country's affairs. Would you say and I don't mean to sound like I guess I'm not gonna say I don't mean to sound if I sound like it. My apologies, but I feel like a lot of people pay attention to the United States,
Yeah.
and I don't mean to come across as like, oh yeah, we're number one, and everyone's like on our dick or nothing like that. But what I'm trying to say is, do you feel as though what happens in the United States, Canadians are always paying close attention, or is it more so you guys are just preoccupied with what you guys got going on, and like you guys look at us as like the um, annoying like sibling that just can't get it together?
I see almost I don't know, Canadian identity is so tied with America.
Yeah,
I remember even being in high school, and like a thing that's stuck with me since then was a teacher saying Canada is defined by what America is not. But also, I find what's also true at the same time is America is Canada like 5 years in the future.
yeah,
Uh, at least politically, that doesn't hold true all the time, but it's kind of close as far as like what we talk about here. So like, I don't know, we have Trudeau, who's basically as liberal as it gets, and I mean that in a derogatory way.
yeah.
Um, and then the thing is like on a local level, it gets more and more messy. So like, you have BC, which is fairly liberal. Uh, you have Quebec, which is socially somewhat conservative, but still liberal.
Mhm.
I'm going to generalize a lot. And like, there's everything in between is like Ontario right now is conservative. Alberta, where I live, is basically Texas, uh, in every sense of the word. Um, Saskatchewan, you know, these are rural provinces with super conservative leanings. It's crazy to me that we have a liberal guy in federal power. I don't know. I think we're much closer to America in terms of political stuff, and like we rely like everything revolves around America, at least like as far as rhetoric goes, and as far as like the political discussion.
Okay.
For better or worse, even if it's not even about like healthcare stuff. It's like, oh well, we live in Canada, like who cares? That healthcare conversation is still happening here.
Yeah.
Like because you guys are fucked for healthcare.
I know.
So like, but here in Canada, here in Alberta, we're going through it at the same time too. We have a government, a provincial government that wants to privatize. So like that discussion's happening here.
They're trying to privatize your guys' healthcare.
Yeah, at least in my province. Yeah.
I don't. I'm not one to call for violence, but I think
that's
province, you guys need to look over at what people in France are doing. Like
I wish everywhere did like what France does there.
It's kind of funny. I wanted to mention. I remember something I want to talk to you about in regards to the political atmosphere within different areas of your country. When my first time coming over to Canada, I think like a day and a half over there, it was back over in like, was it early? Yeah, it was like last year sometime, or earlier this year. I can't remember. If everything feels like a blur to me. But like a day and a half after I was there, I'm just chilling. I'm like, oh man, like I'm just out here in Canada, and I see everyone just got flags everywhere, and I'm just like, man, they're like really patriotic. And I see everyone like driving into the city, they're like honking their like horns everywhere. I'm like, they must have like won some type of game, or it must be some type of national holiday. And that's when I asked one of the people, I said, hey, what's going on? And he's just like, oh, it's a protest for the mask. And I'm like, oh shit. So it was that truck.
Oh, you found the convoys?
Yeah, it was like some convoy thing. And I don't know if I was there when the convoy was going by, but there were so many people honking their horns. Like, I think my second day in Canada, I'm just thinking, man, they're so patriotic.
Yeah, no, you encountered the far right loonies here.
Yeah, they were like all waving their flag. They were like, woo! And like the trucks, like some trucks were coming by, some cars were passing by and all that.
Did you say? Pretty funny. Did you see any Trump flags?
No, I didn't see any Trump flags, but I wouldn't be surprised if
there was a ton here. There's even the fucking Confederate flags being flown here in Alberta.
Really?
Yeah, like the most insane shit. Like, why are you waving that flag here?
That has no connection over to their country.
Yeah, it's like the only connection you have is like racism.
Yeah. People don't have historical context and all that.
Yeah.
All right. So it's unprofessional for me to mention this, but I only got like maybe like 7 more minutes in the stream. But I still want to get into just a few more questions, and we're almost actually done. Have you ever had any regressive viewpoints that you were ashamed of? What caused you to change your stances on those?
Regressive. I don't really think so. I think the closest I got was maybe like transphobia. Yeah. But I think I mostly view my life through that, unfortunately. Fortunately. But like I think everyone has a certain amount of prejudice built into them. Either mostly through like just growing up and watching TV and movies and all that stuff. So you grow up with like a set amount of like prejudice, and because of stereotypes and all that stuff you were raised on from like your parents to whatever. So like I think I had some like racial prejudice. I grew up like around some reservations. Yeah. So like I had some of that growing up. And it's like a whole process of unlearning it, especially with trans stuff. It's like, man, watching Rocky Horror Picture Show and seeing Tim Curry dressed up like a quote unquote degenerate, being like, I'm a transsexual from Transylvania and all that stuff. And I was like, this is a trans person. And then watching like Silence of the Lambs, like, oh, that's a trans person.
Yeah, I was actually doing some reading on Silence of the Lambs, and like obviously I wasn't alive. You and I both weren't alive back then, but I was looking at the Wikipedia. It pissed off a lot of trans members because of kind of like it was first of all transgenderism definitely wasn't. It's still trying to be understood in our era right now. Definitely wasn't understood back then, and that was like one of the few depictions. I wouldn't even say. Obviously,
it goes out of its way to say that like, oh, this isn't what a trans person is, but it's still like it has all those tropes of what trans people were back then. So that's all people knew.
I actually have a interesting video that I watched about that. I'll send it to you. It was like analyzing evil. I think the guy he did something on Buffalo Bill, but it was like. Yeah, I'm really into just like I don't want to. I'm not making this shit about me. Hold on. And this feels so fucking Russ. Oh man. Well, how about this? I don't like the fact that I feel like I'm brushing through these fucking questions. But I also feel like we got to a good start.
Yeah.
I would still like to follow up with the 5 or 10 more questions. Is it possible that I can go ahead and we can schedule something else, or?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Well, hey, NF audience, I really do appreciate you degenerates for joining Natty and I for this interview. Natty, is there anything else that you want to leave the audience with?
I'm hungry. I want a hot dog. Call me the Glizzy Gladiator or the Queenie of Weenie because I'm hungry.
Well, there we go. She said it best here, folks. All right. Hey, I appreciate you all listening. More to follow because my cheap ass didn't fucking get the upgraded account version of StreamYard, and I only have like a few more minutes, but I don't want to like end it on like a rush note or nothing like that.
You're full. Use OBS.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate it, Natty. More to follow. Thank you guys. Yeah. Closing stream. Bye.